Often leaders come to me with a challenge of what does it take for me to really be successful is their question. And to me, that's a simple answer based on my 50 years of business experience and life experiences. I add on another 20 years to that. So I there's a lot to know and a lot to understand, yet it's very simple. Now I'm Voss Graham, and I'm going to share with you today the three C's to success in both life and in business. Business leaders need to pay close attention to this, as well as share this type of information through their team, so that everyone is on board with the same mental mindset. All right, so let's talk about these three C's. They're very important, and they must be used in tandem, meaning that they have to be used together. One by itself will not suffice. It's all three working simultaneously to lead to more success in your life. So we'll start with the first C, choices. Choices is, that you live on choices. Everything you do is a choice. You choose to use certain brands. You choose to work a certain way. You choose to lead a company a certain way. You choose to be a parent or not a parent. You choose. Your choices are what actually make you as a person and as a leader. And as a business leader, others look up to you to see what choices you're making. Now, if your choices are congruent with your purpose and your mission as far as the business, then what happens is everybody's on board. They believe you because they see you walking your own talk. The choices and the decisions are consistent relative to how you go about doing things in life. Now, the second area is chances. Now, I've run into way too many people who just want to live in the status quo. They're in their comfort zones, and comfort zones is the death knell of all growth. There is no growth when everybody is comfortable. I had to experience that myself. I got overly comfortable, and I noticed that my business began to decline a little bit. And I was like, what is going on? It's me. I'm not focused and really taking some new risk. I'm trying to live in a comfort zone. Well, stop it. Risk equals reward. I learned that learning about investments a long time ago. Even in the banking industry, when you make a loan that's no risk, the interest rate is very, very low. Or you buy a bond or invest any kind of investment where there's little to no risk at all of losing, well, then your return on investment is very small. You cannot get rich, so to speak, off of no risk. Yet, if you go willy-nilly, so to speak, and make wild risk or take real, very, very wild risk, then you're putting your company and your life in jeopardy also. And I've seen that happen on occasion where people overextend themselves relative to what they think they're capable of doing, and they go too far. So again, utilizing the choices that you make, you balance your choices and your risk factor so that while you're taking a chance on something, it's not going to make or break you, but it will improve the opportunities for growth. Remember this phrase. It's a statement I make to everyone. If there's no risk, there's no reward. I mean, that's the way the equation works. It's been that way for centuries. And yet sometimes we forget that, or leaders forget that, and they start going comfortable. And then what happens, in my experience, is once the comfort zone and the status quo are established throughout the organization, the people you hire are non-risk takers. The Everything is comfortable and status quo. There's no risk taking because everybody's afraid to lose something. And what happens is you stagnate, and there's no innovation, there's no improvement. It's just a slow death spiral for the organization, which is then leads to cuts and as we used to say, pruning of the org chart, which is, gosh, so devastating to people's lives. And that's not what you want. You want to build a vibrant, growth-oriented, high-energy, high-performance culture that's based upon taking some risk and not being fearful of the risk as long as they're calculated choices. Now, the final piece of the puzzle, the last piece that ties it all together in a nice big ribbon, is change. You know, some people say no change is good. Well, I feel sorry for them because change is not something that's cool. I noticed back in the day when I was doing turnaround work with companies that were very financially dysfunctional, is the leaders had not changed how they did anything in over 20 years. Well, duh. There's a reason they were floundering. The world around them had changed, but they hadn't. And life became a problem. Now, personally, I can tell you that change has been based upon continuous learning. I believe that that is the key. Now, continuous learning, obviously, there's the first step of continuous learning is to read. People who do not read are at a distinct disadvantage as far as utilizing their real brain power and stocking, so to speak, stocking their subconscious with a lot of good information, valuable information that will be pulled out of the deep, dark corners of the brain at the most appropriate times. And as long as they trust themselves and they trust their own knowledge and they understand that in their way they're their own genius, then what happens is the ideas flourish. You're challenged by thought. Now, there's a couple of rules. Number one, never read just one book on a topic, because that causes you to be a follower of that person's agenda or opinions. I had a great mentor years ago who taught me to read probably 5 books on a topic, and that way I could look at it and understand the process involved in that particular topic of whatever I was trying to learn. So I would learn the process. The other interesting thing is each author had a tendency, while writing about the same process, they would emphasize different parts and pieces of the process. So what happened is I expanded my knowledge relative to every step of the process, which then allowed me to create my own internalized solutions for myself first and then my clients. And I've applied, now this is a second key factor, is that what you learn you need to apply. You need to test it. You do not need to just become some kind of ivory tower person that lives in a tower and reads and decrees things downward. That's not going to work. You read a lot of books, you get the topic down, and then you focus on how you want to do it. So you make it yours. You take possession of it. You personalize it or individualize it, and make your own choices. I love that. I love that idea. I've used it. I've learned all about leadership, quality, assessments. Oh my gosh, customer service, strategy, sales and marketing in depth. Now, that leads to the next topic. After you apply this type of information, the other key valuable point is that in some cases, in order for you to really make a difference, is you need to have someone who will coach or mentor you in order to challenge you to make the choices, take the risk, and to implement the changes necessary to create growth within your own company. And that's where a good coach comes in. Now, I've got opinions about coaches. I mean, first off, I was coaching before coaching became the buzzword. I didn't even know what coaching was when I was coaching originally, but it's all about getting results and helping people change their results. And that's what it really boils down to. I don't need a certification for that. Plus, as my one of my mentors, Alan Weiss, tells me on a regular basis, who certifies the certifier? And that's always causes a little giant question mark in my head: is who did certify this person? What do they know, and how do I know that they know their stuff in order to teach me how to do it? So what I do is I look for people who are experienced, have walked in my shoes, and have delivered the same type of energy in a very similar method or methodology, and that allows me to implement it very quickly and see the results, and whether the results is working properly or not, in order for me to make adjustments or to fine-tune what change I've implemented. So if you're looking for an experienced coach that has been there, and what I'm doing is I'm really asking entrepreneurs, if you're looking for a good coach, you ought to go to callvoss.com, give me a call. We'll have a brief conversation, and if there's a match, we can move forward. If you're not comfortable with something that I say, or I can't figure out exactly what you want, which is rare, but there's always that possibility. And then I'll just, we'll part friends and just keep on going. And you can schedule that phone call by just going to callvoss.com and schedule. I've got an automated scheduler, so you can pick the best time for you. We don't have to play telephone or email tag, and you can just schedule it, and then we'll have our conversation. All right. Well, that's enough for me, and that's as far as I'm going to go on any kind of offer. That's not what my game is here. It's to help you meet your challenges of life and in business, and help you succeed in life, get you to that next level. With that, I thank you. I look forward to assisting you if you like, and take care. Have a great day.